There were an incident that happened at the local arcade hall a few years ago, and I was the one that was involved in this particular incident. My name is Jason. I'm 18, but this happened when I was just 16 years old. I have always loved go to this particular local arcade, even sometimes by myself or with my friends. But I often went there by myself. But this time, it actually happened when I went there by myself. I did had asked some of my friends if they want to go, but some of them actually couldn't go that this day, so I decided to just go by myself. And I had saved up enough allowance so I could go there play some games. And I was quite familiar with the staff there, and one of the staff was actually my older cousin Ryan. He was about 18 at the time. So, anyways, what happened that I went there and I was having a lot of fun. I played a lot of the games, but when I was playing one particular game, and I can't remember exactly which game it was since there was a list a while back, this guy, at least in his 20s, I can't give exact age, but I would say between 20 and 25, something like that. And he said that his name was Adam, and he told me that he could show me how to beat some of the levels in this particular game, but I just told him I already knew since I have played this game a lot actually already. So he backed down and he just stood there and watched me play the game, and after I finished it, I went to the other few games, and this guy, which I call now a weirdo, started to follow me around, and I started to feel uneasy about this. Especially I was just 16 and this guy was in his 20s, followed me around, and there weren't much people at this arcade at the time though, but he started telling me what to do in these particular games, like how to beat some of the levels, how to beat some of the bosses. But I always told him that I already knew, because I have been beating these games before, and eventually I had enough. I told him just simply leave me alone, but the guy didn't even care, and he stayed behind using a distant. After I finished playing the current game I was on, I left. I went to still find another game that I haven't played in a while, but this weirdo, who later called himself Adam, he followed me around this time as well in a distant. But after I was had approached one game and just started playing it, he followed me there, but this time I had enough. I told her firmly to leave me alone. Like, please, can you not leave me alone? I want to have you following me around this arcade. If you want to play games, just go to somewhere else. I don't want you to have me on my tail all the time. This somehow triggered him. He just wanted to be friendly, he said. He wanted to show me how to beat some of the bosses and the levels in the games. I told him I already know how to beat these games. I already done it before. I have been here so often, so I really had enough of this. And this brought attention to one of the workers, and thanks to me, it was Ryan, my older cousin. Ryan asked what was the problem, and Adam, the weirdo, said that he was just having an argument with his younger cousin, and he looks at me. But then Ryan said something to this guy, "Sir, you're not his cousin." And that's made the guy even more angrier. And he said, "How dare you not to be calling me that he's not my cousin?" But then Ryan said, "The fact I is his older cousin." This guy somehow got scared. For a reason? Well, you may think Ryan might be just a scrawny kid or anything like that. No. In fact, Ryan was really fit. He worked out often. He had great muscles and all that, so some people referred him as a smaller version of a bodybuilder, and the guy just got scared and apologized, and Ryan just simply said that now that he's now banned from this arcade since Ryan's family owns this particular arcade, which is true, they do. And the guy, well, he once again apologized and just left. Ryan looked at me and asked if I was okay. I said, yeah, this guy didn't do anything, just told me how to beat some of the games and all that. Of course, when I get home, I did tell my parents about this, and they were scared. But they were glad that Ryan was there at the time, and I eventually told some of my friends that they felt sorry. If they were had been there, the guy would not probably even been approached me. So if Ryan wasn't even at work at the time, I have no idea how the outcome would have been. For that, I'm very gladly that my older cousin Ryan was there. I not only seeing Ryan as my cousin, I see him as like a more as a older brother type. And that was the last time I even saw the guy. And to this guy, let us never meet, because you do, I will beat you to so you won't see me again. A couple of years ago, I was having a pretty bad time at the local arcade along with my best friend Michelle. My name is Sarah, by the way. We were both 20 years old, so this was at least around a few years ago. We often went to this arcade ourselves or with our boyfriends. But this time, me and Michelle was going to have a double date with our boyfriends Brian and Roger. Roger is Michelle's boyfriend, by the way, so just to be mentioned so that I wouldn't mix them up. So we had made plans that we would be meeting him at this arcade to go to our date. So we arrived to this arcade and we just started playing games and we're just having a good time. While we were just waiting for our boyfriends to show up, as we were playing the games, an older man in his 40s approached us and asked us how the game was going so far. And at first, there was no red flags. He wasn't that bad looking man. I was like, he was dressed more as casual attires. And we just told him that the game was going well, and before, but then something triggered me. The guy asked us if we want to go with him to another arcade in the area. But Michelle brought up the topic that we were actually waiting for our boyfriends to show up for our double dates. The man then said okay and left us alone, which I was glad that he did. Shortly afterwards, Brian, my boyfriend, texted me and said that he and Roger would have been a little bit later, about 20 minutes late, which I told Michelle, and we both were okay with it. So we continued to play the games, and after a little while, the man, now we know as Gordon, came back and he said that he hasn't seen our supposed boyfriends. So he thought that we made them up so that he wouldn't hitting on us. But then he asked me if I wanted to go out with him, a more mature man rather than with an immature guy, referring to Brian. I got offended by it, and I told him back off and leave us all alone. Or we recalled some of the staff, which somehow made him angry. He started yelling at us that we should be grateful a good-looking older man should showing interest in us. This, of course, brought attention to some of the people that was playing the games in the area around us. But none one didn't even get it between because they didn't want to get involved with what was going on. But Gordon got louder and he felt then a grip behind his shoulder and he turned around and saw two young fit men behind him. He got scared when I said, "Oh, Brian, Roger, you two are already here?" I realized the time had been going faster than we expected. And we told the man that is our boyfriends. Gordon got so pale and Even though Brian's grip on his shoulder wasn't even that strong, he just put his hand on his shoulder, made a small grip, and, well, let's say Gordon just ran out the arcade, which afterwards a lot of people started laughing about it. And Brian and Roger, who was clueless about what's happening, except that they walked in at the same time when he saw when Gordon started yelling at us. They didn't know the whole story. Only when he said that they should go out, that they should be grateful of an older man showing interest in them, which made both Brian and Roger quite upset and, of course, defensive. And, well, afterwards, after we told them the whole story, we just left the arcade and we actually went to this cafe for our double date. And ever since then, if me or if I went to this arcade with either myself or with Michelle or Brian, we never saw Gordon. And apparently, from what I've been told from other people, that Gordon is a frequent customer that he usually went to look around for any younger girls to be dating. But after that incident with Brian, Roger showed up. Apparently, that was the last time anyone even saw of him, which probably was good because a lot of people there was feeling uncomfortable of his presence, which I would not say otherwise. Because what Gordon said made me offended of it. And for that, I am pretty glad that he hasn't showed himself at this arcade ever again. So to Gordon, if we would ever meet in person ever again, please stay away from me or Brian will knock you out.